Baldur's Gate 3 has a huge variety of player options. In this video series, I will be ranking some of the specific features available to the playable classes and hopefully in the process help you avoid a couple of the not so obvious pitfalls. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an episode. In today's video, I am ranking the 7 Metamagic options available to the Sorcerer class in Baldur's Gate 3. If you find this content interesting or informative, please leave me a like and perhaps check out some of the other ranking videos on the channel. Now with that out of the way, let's get nerdy. In last place in the Metamagic options ranking is Subtle Spell. And this is extremely unfortunate and disappointing, as Subtle Spell is one of my absolute personal favorite Metamagics in D&D 5e. In Baldur's Gate 3, however, Subtle Spell Metamagic allows a sorcerer to cast a spell while silenced, and that is it. Whereas in D&D, casting a spell requires verbal and somatic components, meaning a sorcerer must speak specific incantations and perform distinct hand gestures. This can draw attention to the spellcasting process, making it easier for the enemies to identify and interrupt the spell. And this is exactly where Subtle Spell normally comes in very handy, as sorcerers can cast spells without any obvious signs of spell casting. In essence, doing so undetectable by normal means, allowing the casting of spells like Charm Person or Suggestion without being accused of magical manipulation. In combat encounters, spells which have been augmented with Subtle Spell can't be counterspelled. On the other hand, being silenced in BG3 is far more situational, and on that basis I just can't recommend you using one of your very precious few Metamagic slots on Subtle Spell. In at number 6 is Distance Spell. By applying Distance Spell, a sorcerer can turn a short range spell into a long range one. For example, a spell like Shocking Grasp, which is usually limited to melee range, can now be used from a safe distance. Additionally, area of effect spells like Fireball or Lightning Bolt can be unleashed on distant targets, allowing the sorcerer to engage enemies from far away. Using Distance Spell may require careful positioning and strategic planning, as being further away from your targets might have its challenges. However, it also opens up opportunities for creative spellcasting tactics. The sorcerer can engage foes from a distance, staying out of immediate harm's way and contributing to the battle from a safe vantage point. It is essential to note that Distance Spell only affects the range of the spell, and not other aspects like damage, area, or the saving throw requirements. The spell's effects remain unchanged, but now the sorcerer can unleash them from a more extended distance, providing tactical advantages in various scenarios. Unfortunately, I have had very few instances where repositioning my sorcerer could not achieve the same effect as using this Metamagic option. However, I can see a use case for players that do like them some touch range spells where Distance Spell could be of much use. Next up at number 5 is Extended Spell. Extended Spell works pretty much as described on the tin, allowing the sorcerer to prolong the duration of certain spells. By spending sorcery points, the sorcerer can apply this Metamagic option to a spell with a duration of 1 turn or longer. When cast with Extended Spell, the spell's duration doubles, effectively granting it twice the normal length. This can be quite beneficial for spells that have ongoing effects, buffs or control aspects, as it extends the duration, providing longer lasting benefits or maintaining control over the battlefield for an extended period. For instance, if a sorcerer casts a spell like Haste on an ally and uses Extended Spell, the target will benefit from the increased speed and other advantages for an additional 10 turns beyond the spell's regular duration. Extremely useful for prolonged combat encounters and covert missions behind enemy lines. However, using Extended Spell consumes 1 sorcery point per spell level, so careful consideration should be given, as sorcerers have a limited pool of these points and players must weigh the benefits of an extended duration against the need for other metamagic options. Up next at number 4 is Careful Spell. Careful Spell allows the caster to control the area of effect of their spells, protecting allies from harmful effects. When a sorcerer uses Careful Spell, they can spend sorcery points to apply this metamagic to the spell they cast. With Careful Spell, the allied creature within the spell area, which requires a saving throw, automatically succeeds against the chosen spell's effect. This means that even if the spell requires effective creatures to make a saving throw, they do succeed. Now, just a reminder that even on a successful save, some of these AoE spells still do half damage. By using Careful Spell, the sorcerer can ensure that frontline companions take minimal damage, while still affecting enemy combatants. It also allows for precise spellcasting and strategic control over the battlefield, mitigating the risk of harming friendly characters. Careful Spell can be a clutch option in critical moments, such as when allies are in close proximity to enemies or when facing powerful adversaries. By preserving the safety of their companions, the sorcerer can contribute to the party's success and bolster their role as a support or battlefield controller, all for the cost of a single sorcery point. In a third place overall is Heightened Spell. Heightened Spell imbues the sorcerer's spell with sheer potency and overwhelming magical force. By expending one sorcery point per spell level, the sorcerer can force the target of the spell to have disadvantage on its initial saving throw for the spell being cast, making it much more likely that the spell's effect will take hold. In combat, Heightened Spell shines when used against powerful enemies with strong saving throw proficiencies. For instance, a heightened Disintegrate or Hold monster can severely hamper even the most formidable of adversaries, providing a critical advantage to the party in challenging battles. Beyond combat, Heightened Spell is excellent for spells that impose debilitating conditions or status effects, such as Charm Person, which can tilt the odds in their favor when trying to influence important NPCs or sway the course of social interactions. Despite its impressive benefits, Heightened Spell still requires careful consideration of the sorcerer's sorcery points, as they are a limited resource. When used strategically, Heightened Spell cements the sorcerer's role as the master of manipulation and control, wielding magical might to shape the destiny of their world. In at number 2 is Quicken Spell. With Quicken Spell, the sorcerer can cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 action as a bonus action instead. This allows them to cast 2 spells, 1 leveled spell and a cantrip on a single turn, unleashing a potent combination of magic. This metamagic significantly enhances the sorcerer's flexibility and versatility in combat, enabling them to deal damage, control the battlefield, or support their allies with a mix of spell effects. Quicken Spell is especially beneficial in situations where immediate action is necessary, or when the sorcerer wants to follow up one spell with another swiftly. For example, a sorcerer can cast a damaging spell like Fireball as a bonus action, and then use their regular action to cast Chill Touch, to both deal a huge amount of damage and debuff enemies, effectively neutralizing threats in a single turn. Again, it's crucial to note that the leveled spell augmented by Metamagic is cast as a bonus action, and must have a regular casting time of 1 action. Spells with longer casting times cannot be quickened. Using the Quicken Spell Metamagic option grants sorcerers incredible action economy and the ability to capitalize on critical moments during encounters. And in at number 1, if you haven't guessed it already, is of course Twin Spell. With Twin Spell, a sorcerer can take a spell that targets only one creature and choose a second creature within range to also be affected by the spell. The second target must be a valid target for the spell and must be within range. This allows the Sorcerer to extend the impact of a single targeted spell, making them more efficient and potent in dealing with multiple enemies or aiding multiple allies. Twin Spell is especially valuable for spells that impose harmful effects, such as Disintegrate or Hold Person, as it effectively doubles the Sorcerer's damage output or crowd control abilities. Additionally, it can also be used to duplicate beneficial spells like Haste, granting valuable buffs to two party members simultaneously. It is also important to note that not all spells are eligible for Twin Spell. To use this Metamagic, the spell's description must explicitly state that it targets only one creature and does not have a range of self. Furthermore, the spell cannot be modified to include additional targets or areas of effect. Twin Spell is one of the few ways that casters can bypass the concentration restrictions in the game, effectively breaking the action economy put in place specifically for that reason, and that's why I love it. And that's gonna be it for this video. Please let me know how your first playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 is going. I am having an absolute blast. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below, like, subscribe, all of that YouTube stuff, and I will see you again soon.